welcome to Old Ways Gardening and Prepping. My name is Teresa. I'd like to welcome you out to my backyard on this amazingly beautiful day. I have been able to run around in a t-shirt, and it's been so long since I've done that, and broke out in a sweat tilling up a spot in the garden. So it's been a wonderful day. Now, today what I'm going to do is that time for me to plant pecans. I know it's hard because I want to keep them, and these are wonderful Pawnee pecans. The trees will get big and tall and will produce heavily. It'll take about 10-15 years, give or take a few or more, before I'll see any, but this is how I get started. Last year the fight with the squirrels was ungodly. They killed several of them, but I'm going to win this battle regardless with the squirrels. I ended up with five or six pecan trees. I had last year I done Pawnee and Mohawk. This year I'm just doing Pawnee because in research I found that after a Mohawk pecan tree is 25 years old, production really starts to slow down. But Pawnee, it doesn't. It just keeps on producing, and that's what I want. And these are big, beautiful. There's even bigger ones in here. Big, beautiful papershell pecans, and that's what I like. Alright, well, it's time to get busy. Let me move the camera down. And I have two big pots that I'm going to get them started in. And of course, check your nuts over. That one I get to eat. Make sure they have no insect holes in them. I'll check them as I plant them. This year I'm going to plant them a little closer than I did last year because I think he went crazy, my other half, when he bought the pecans. And Lordy, I don't think I'm going to plant all these pecans. If I do, I'm going to have to get some more pots. Now what I'm going to do first is lay them out. And now they might not germinate till spring, but that's fine. We're going to have some more cold weather. It's just the beginning of it getting cold here. And see, that one's cracked. You do not want to plant that one. You want to make sure that they're good and solid. No bug holes, no cracks. And I'm spacing them about every about 3 inches. And all I'm going to do is push them down about 3 inches, 2 to 3 inches. So I want them to get a good start, but I want them to be just high enough to where the soil will get cold enough for them to go, hey, it's time to germinate. Okay, and that's all I done. Pushed them down in the soil, and I've mended the soil. It's good and fertilized. And what I'm probably going to do, no, it's no probably, I'm going to do it. I'm going to put a little bit of the horse manure that I have on top. That way it'll leach down over the winter. And I will bring you back as soon as I am done planting these pecans, and then I'll show you when I get started in this bucket. See you after a while. Okay, I got these first bucket planted. I was blessed to be able to get 40 pecans, and I'm going to try to get more in here, but let me show you how pretty these are. Now these are already cracked, so it's okay to open these up if I can get my hands to work. Now I'll tell you, any evidence of opening a pecan up, make sure you don't leave it laying around. Because let me tell you, these squirrels around here are horrid. They have no respect for anybody's garden or their plants. But this is why they're called paper shells. So easy to get out. Look at that. 2 perfect pecan halves. These are beautiful, beautiful, healthy pecans. Now, do not get discouraged if you plant your pecans and only a few come up. There is no guarantee that they'll come up, but they will come up. I'm gonna plant these a little closer. I want to try to get as many as I can in here. And like I said, look for cracked ones. Nothing's wrong with them at all. Eat those babies. Just don't plant them. Make sure that they're not cracked. I thought I had got all the cracked ones out. That come really late winter, early spring is when they'll start germinating. It's a happy time. But yeah, nothing's wrong with the cracked ones. You can eat them without a problem. You just don't want to plant them because they'll take a chance of rotting. Now you can do this with any pecan. You can do it with black walnuts. I don't have to plant any of those. Those things are prolific around here. Because these little tree rats forget where they plant their stash, and I have black walnuts all over the place. Planting them close is not going to hurt a thing at all. Just means you have a bigger chance of more coming up. I had so much fun when they started coming up. I was so happy last year. And I thought they were safe. And along come the squirrel, because what happens is the squirrel will dig them up and eat the pecan off of it and kill the tree. So I also learned when I transplanted them, you have to take the pecan off the tree because they will dig it up, kill the tree just to eat the pecan. I swear these things have no mercy whatsoever. And of course, I'll come back, put some shredded leaves on top, and then some composted horse manure mix, and that'll keep them good and insulated. Now my soil is good and moist, and like I said, I have amended it pretty good, but I'm going to add a little more nutrients for them. See, there's a big pretty one. I tried to have the camera the other way, but I couldn't look into the sunlight and see because It's been so long since we've seen the big yellow ball in the sky and wasn't freezing to death. It feels amazing to be outside. And of course, it's warmed up some, so been fighting mosquitoes like crazy. And if it feels really light, there's a good chance that one's not any good. I'll crack it open later and check. Starting to run out of room. Oh, good grief. I don't think this pot's definitely not going to be big enough for them all. But he's lucky to get these at a homegrown farm stand in his travels down in Mississippi, and brought them home last year. And he's been chomping at the bit to go back down to bring more home. Well, that's about as many as I'm going to get in there. I'd prefer to give them a little more space, but we want to try to get a whole lot more. And like I said, any pecan evidence, they will snip it out. And see, you just grab, let's see, can you see? You just put your hand on the pecan, shove it down about 2 to 3 inches. Uh-oh. That's what you gotta listen for. That one cracked. No, I lost count. That one making the count. That crack noise threw me off, but it's close to 80 in this one. And like I said, I'll come back. Because, like, no, that's a leaf. I know they need a little bit more cover, so I'm going to come back with some mulched leaf litter, and then I'm going to put some horse manure and straw mix on top. Try to make sure that it's weed free if possible. You want to make sure you pat it down really good so they get really good contact with the soil. Uh-oh. See, sometimes they're a little obstinate. You want to make sure that they're patted down real good. I've got another pot's worth of pecans. I'm going to have to figure out a pot to use. I'll probably use one of my pots that I had tomatoes in. Like I said, my gracious, make sure you get up all the evidence that there's pecans around, because they will sniff it out. And what I do, of course, now I'm going to fix it. I've got a different thing that I'm going to use underneath this. I use a screen underneath, and I'll set this on top and try my hardest to make this squirrel proof. But this one's going to be uneven because of the way the window is built. But you got to, if you have squirrels, you're going to have to cover them up to protect them, because they will come and dig every one up and have not a bit of remorse about doing so. But that's okay, because I'm going to be thinning out the herd of squirrels around here later on. I hope this encourages you to grow your own pecan and nut trees. You can do the same thing with almonds, walnuts, black walnuts, English walnuts, American hazelnuts. Make sure they're American. Most of all, your nuts. I'd like to get some persimmon seeds, but I don't have any persimmon trees around me, as I'd sure like to make a batch of persimmon butter. Simple, easy, anybody can do this. You just have to have the pecans or other nuts, big pots, because they send out a good long taproot. And when you go to transplant them out of these into other pots, you've got to be careful. But once they start germinating, I'll bring you back to show you how to transplant them. Now that'll be sometime probably middle spring. Depends on what our winter's going to be like. They're saying it's going to be a mild December. I don't know. We've been awful cold here to be as early as it is. I hope this encourages you also. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask them in the comment section below. I will answer them as soon as possible. We need to get as self-sufficient as possible, and your nut trees are high in omega-3s and so many other wonderful nutrients. Now, I will have information about these Pawnee pecans in the description box below, so please take time to go by and read the descriptions if you're interested. I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Each one of you, please stay safe and sound out there. Be careful with this new crap that's come onto our shores. It's a whole lot worse than the other ones have been. Everyone take care. I look forward to seeing you in my next video, and may you each be blessed.